My name is Jörg Brons, and I'm with the manufacturing team here at 2020. Welcome to Why Standalone Software is Not Enough, 2020's webinar. So we did some surveys and analyzed the market. You probably know that we have a lot of customers using our solution in the manufacturing environment and all over the world. And then at some point in time, we realized that a lot of companies have individual pieces of software, and they try to connect everything with each other. And that was the idea for us to do this webinar. So as you can see, when we look at an entire process of the flow of data and information within our industry, here you can see that that all the departments and the processes of the manufacturer that they are somehow interacted with each other. So in one side something happens, then the other side needs to see that. So it goes all the way from the dealer or architect or builder, depends if you are in the kitchen bath industry, architectural millwork, institutional case goods. All of those ones have a point of sale side, and they're dealing then from that moment on and pushing the information all the way through to the manufacturer up until shipping and installation. What we can see and what we have seen in the industry, there's a lot of information going back and forth, and data are all over the place. They are in all different kind of forms. When we look at the biggest issue, the communication between the point of sale, like I said, I could be a dealer, a builder, or architect, with the manufacturer. It's some data between what you need in order to run your business. It could be on the order entry side, the whole material management side, how to schedule your jobs, how to generate bill of materials, how to integrate with the machines. And this disconnection between point of sale and the manufacturer very often leads to redundancy of data. So you need data on the manufacturing side, you need data on the point of sale side, and on the manufacturer itself, you need data sometimes. People work with an engineering tool, some people work to schedule everything with an Excel file. So you set up data in one system and in another one, and often they are not talking to each other. As I said, that usually leads to a lot of redundancy of data and a very long lead time until the order is really confirmed and can be pushed through. But even worse is that within the company, a lot of manufacturers have the issue that different departments are working in silos. And it's not just because of they don't want to work with each other, it's just these certain systems or individual standalone systems are not able to talk to each other. Now, most companies can say, well, we build bridges, we build interfaces so that we can connect all these different pieces of software with each other. And that's good for the time being. But then at some point in time, one piece of software needs to be upgraded, but it cannot be because then it cannot talk to the other one anymore. And slowly but surely, you get into a web of interfaces and newer and older pieces of software where at some point in time, it's impossible to upgrade one or the other. And that leads really then to the point of you're stuck in certain versions for the next, 10 years. And that makes life really, really difficult. So therefore, when we look at a complete end-to-end solution, we look at 2020 here on which kind of areas we are able to support. So it starts basically with building a data library, all kinds of pricing information, discount information, products, features, options, that all needs to be created at some point in time. And we don't want to have really redundancy of data, right? So these data will then be made available for our builders, architects, dealers, retailers, whoever works on the point of sale side, or even their own showrooms to sell these products. So with the whole product configuration, 2020 puts a lot of effort in to have from the point of sale through managing an order, through engineering, to work with the so-called product configurator and parametric engineering models. So the key is really to utilize the configurator all the way through from start to finish in one system, so that you don't work kind of on a SKU base, right? You have a speaking item number or product number, which can relate to one single configuration of a product. So versus with a product configurator, you are able to have one product, but you can configure it in many, many different ways, like different door style, different species, different colors, and that drives later on the engineering model. And I come to this one a little bit later on which kind of impact that has on the data which run all the way through a system. So the dealer is now using this information created by the manufacturer to build their design, the look and feel, maybe some pricing, to make it in a certain way, not too deep, but presentable in a way that the end consumer will hopefully sign the deal. In the builder business, it's a little bit different. You do probably a room layout, call it layout A, and you have these 20 times, and you mirror it, and you have a 20 times for layout B. You have something else and something else. So managing an entire project within the system is very important as well, because those information go really back and forth between the dealer and the manufacturer, or the builder and the manufacturer. From here, we go now that the point of sale side, as again, builder, dealer, architect, they can submit their orders directly to the manufacturer. So a key element is here that we don't want that manufacturers or the order entry department at a manufacturer needs to re-enter this order. Lots of issues happen when you do that. You do typos, you do any other certain things which can go wrong. So the easiest is always straight importing these information. For that reason, Insight has an automatic import functionality, and we don't really care what we import. It could be kit files from 2020 design, a point of sale software out there used by a lot of dealers. Could be an XML file, could be text file. Any electronic file format can be imported. Obviously, we can also manually import this one, but the key is here really importing it. And then in Insight, we handle either single job or larger projects. So the key element, again, on the data side is managing orders and still have the communication back and forth with the point of sale. So because during that time, a lot of changes still can happen. The end consumer could say, well, I changed my mind. I want to have a different door style or a different species. Obviously, that need to have a direct impact on the manufacturing side when these get resubmitted. And the manufacturer needs to check, have I released this job already into production? Have I done something with it? So all these information are very critical for manufacturing companies, that they have a good bidirectional communication with the point of sale. One of the key elements in the solution is the workflow tool. The workflow tool allows you to bring in your business processes into the software and configure this software in a way that you make it basically your own without customizing it. And that's very important here, this word customizing. We don't want that somebody uses our software and customize the heck out of it so that it works in individual kind of departments. For that reason, we developed a 2020 workflow tool, which, as I said, allows you to bring in your business processes. For an example, companies receive an order from a point of sale. In that order, there is a line item flagged as a special. The system recognizes automatically through the import and sends automatically a notification to the engineering department to work on this special. Now the engineering department confirms that they have done the special, and information will be sent back throughout the system that the order can be processed further within your business process. So we can check open ARs of an order compared with a credit limit, and then if the order is not okay, then send a notification to the accounting department. They can then verify these back with a customer or with a builder, and then either release it or leave it on hold until certain other things have been checked. So you can come up with your own business processes and bring them into the software, and you still are in the standard of the software. And at 2020, we release every 3 months another version. So that means new functionalities, new enhancements, and you probably want to benefit from this one. So once an order has been received, maybe we have done some specials on it. As you can see over here, we can do all kinds of modifications on the data. And then the system will generate a bill of material. It will create drawings, routings, so we know on how a part travels through the shop. But it will also give you costing information, because we know from a bill of material what the raw material is, and we know through the routing what the labor cost is. So with those information, we get costing information. And if we want to close the loop between what's happening on the manufacturing side and what do I need really on the point of sale side, for companies who go, let's say in the multifamily business, or need a lot of bidding where they do these based on a certain cost, then those information are returning from one department back to another one. So it's very important that all of these individual departments within the company have access to all of this information. And last but not least, we generate the final CNC code here. So then the information go into the shop. Somebody will schedule it. We also check always in the background if material is available or not. And when we look at the next screen here, that we can create production orders, which is basically creating production batches for which we want to release into the shop. And that can be a regular production batch, job by job, or based on a certain shipment, like a truck leaves every Friday evening to the West Coast. And then based on that truck schedule, we schedule production. When we schedule, we also look into the inventory and see if enough inventory is available in order to do this job. So if we would have different kind of systems, one for scheduling and one which keeps track of inventory, then this would not be possible to do that. So we can have restrictions that we can only release production batches into the shop once material is available. And if material is not available, it will automatically make a suggestion to the buyer to create a purchase order. And then also, we issue the purchase order, release it, we receive the material, we get the invoice, we do the three-way check, where we compare the invoice from the vendor with the PO and the receipt, and then send it to finance. So important is here, when somebody creates a purchase order and, let's say, not have received the material, but inside issues now a production schedule, and we know the material is not here yet, but it will be there based on the ship date of the PO, then Inside will not automatically issue another suggestion for the buyer. And those kind of interactions, it's very important within a company to make good business decisions. And obviously, not just on that side, also on the scheduling side, based on capacity. Which machine has capacity available, which one not. So you want to move maybe if one machine is over capacity or in maintenance mode, you want to move certain jobs from one machine to another machine. That is only possible if you have full visibility throughout the system. On the shop floor side, once we release this production batch now, then you can see that each part, based on the routing, has a guided path throughout the shop. And just one example here, if somebody at the point of sale, let's say a dealer or a builder, designs a certain room and says, well, this cabinet has a finished side, then we know automatically, because of configurable routings, that this part needs to go through the finishing department. If it's not finished, then it will not go through the finishing department. So there's nothing somebody has to re-enter into the system. Everything is driven by data created by the manufacturer, used by the dealer, builder, architect, and then pushed back as an order into the system. As I mentioned before, we integrate with panel source. We generate the final CNC program, and then the optimizer for true shape nesting, so that we have an integration here as well. But more important on the whole thing here is that we do need to know, once we nest something, for an example, how much material have we consumed? And we want to update those information instantaneously to the material management module. So again, another part where there's a huge advantage having everything within one system. One of the last steps is then scheduling shipments one more time, or how we release certain, or how we load products and into the truck. It can be either a shipping label can be created, and information can be on that shipping label with somebody in order entry or at the project level enters. For an example, this kind of product need to go in building A, floor 2, unit 13. So nobody needs to re-enter information here. We deliver them to the customer, and 2020 Insight has also a service and installation module in which we are able to schedule the installers. Basically, they can see on the mobile app at what point in time they need to be where. Do they need to drive somewhere? Which kind of tools do they need in order to be there? They can also see and then take pictures on site. They can create rework if a door breaks, for an example, or some other components break, all through the app. And then overall, what is really important, have a full visibility, and different tools at 2020 provide dashboards, a mobile app functionality, so that supervisors or senior management or other people can always see where parts of the job or the entire job is and which kind of stage it is. So what are the benefits of the whole integrated solution and going away from standalone software? So on one side is we reduce the amount of errors through that process. So for an example, if you have like an Insight fully integrated rework process, so that means down in the shop floor, something breaks, you scan it as rework or reorder, what some companies say, then these triggers automatically that I need additional material, that I need additional labor, so I see my actual cost going up and my profit margin shrinking. But in this example here is I also get statistics and keep track of where certain things are happening. And when this happens, then, and I know where it happens, then I have the possibility to adjust this by either doing adjustments on the machine or train the worker. Very often companies say, well, I would reduce my amount of staff on order entry, right, to save some money. But we've seen it in a lot of implementation, and believe me, we have done a lot of implementation. You can do really with the same amount of people a lot more. And an integrated solution will help you, not working in silos, talking to each other, right? Because you can see this information right away on your system, on your screen. That means, think about if you can do the same revenue, what you do today in 12 months, if you can do this in 10 months or even in 9 months, you have 3 more months out of the year where you can drive additional revenue. It's definitely quicker to go to market with new product lines. So new product developments. If think about if you do this only in one system instead of 3 or 4 systems, which are not connected with each other, you have to do kind of mapping this one system with mapping with the other system. Here you just do your adjustments, create a new product line based on data which you already have in the system, and then issue it and release it to the market and publish it maybe to your dealers. Very quick. Well, I'll give you, for an example, the scanning in work centers within your shop floor gives you full visibility. Also, your supervisors, most companies have Monday morning or Tuesday or every morning meetings with the production team to see where are the orders. Are we late? Are we behind? Are we on track? Do we see how much capacity we have in the shop? Or do we have to move jobs from one machine to another one? Or do we have to delay something? Which material is required? What do I need there? All of this information the system will give you when it's kind of connected with each other. And then, as I mentioned before, it really the workflow tool as a heart of a system throughout everything from order entry through engineering, through scheduling, shop floor, shipping, installation. If you have a tool which combines and is kind of a glue everything together, where you can configure this in a way that it adapts exactly your business processes and still being in the standard of the software. I think that's a very, very strong message here. And the last point here I wanted to make is implementing an entire solution obviously takes some time, but with the help of the implementation team, we have done this several times. We can really help doing a quick implementation in a very short time, so that at least, and we don't need to do a full implementation. It could be a phase implementation, so step by step, and you get a very quick return of investment of the software purchase. So with that, I really want to thank you for joining 2020's webinar today, Why Standalone Software is Not Enough. And if you have any kind of questions, reach out to us. We are happy to help you. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye-bye.